You are not allowed to leave. Your international travel rights have been officially revoked. These were the chilling words reportedly delivered to President Cyril Ramaphosa as international authorities took swift and unprecedented action against South Africa's sitting president. In a bombshell development that's shaking the entire African continent and rattling political elites globally, President Ramaphosa has been blocked from leaving South African soil. Sources confirm that international bodies have moved in, citing serious concerns linked to legal proceedings, international accountability, and growing unrest at home. Is this the beginning of the end for Ramaphosa's presidency? Or just the start of something even more explosive? The news came early this morning like a lightning strike across the diplomatic world. International watchdogs, in collaboration with South African legal authorities, allegedly issued a formal notice preventing President Ramaphosa from making any international trips until further notice. The reason? Mounting allegations of human rights violations, abuse of executive power, and a pending international investigation related to economic crimes. It's the kind of restriction you'd expect for war criminals or rogue dictators, not a sitting head of state of a democratic nation. According to insiders within the Department of International Relations and Cooperation, DIRCO, the travel restrictions were issued under an obscure but binding section of international law concerning pending multilateral investigations. Even more shocking, Interpol and members of the International Criminal Court, ICC, have reportedly shown interest in collaborating on this case. So what exactly triggered this stunning diplomatic action? Tensions have been building for months. Ramaphosa has been under intense scrutiny following a slew of exposés and whistleblower leaks tying high-ranking officials, allegedly under his protection, to large-scale corruption, illicit financial transfers, and foreign bribery scandals. But the final straw may have come during his recent attempted overseas trip to Europe, where he was scheduled to meet with economic partners. Sources say foreign officials warned that his presence would be diplomatically inappropriate under current investigations. In the backdrop is also his controversial involvement in South Africa's handling of minority rights, violent land reform clashes, and questions over his involvement or knowledge of police brutality incidents. The international community's reaction has been swift and sharp. Several countries are reportedly suspending diplomatic visits, postponing state deals, and reassessing their ties with South Africa. The United Nations released a vague but chilling statement earlier today, saying, "No leader is above accountability. The protection of global human rights and legal ethics remains paramount." Meanwhile, neighboring African states are watching with bated breath. If a man like Ramaphosa, long considered a stabilizing figure in African politics, can be restricted and investigated, who's next? Back in South Africa, the backlash has been explosive. Opposition leaders, particularly from the EFF and DA, have celebrated the move, calling it a historic step toward ending elite impunity. Julius Malema even went as far as to say, "The days of untouchables ruling from golden towers while the people suffer in shacks are over." But not everyone agrees. ANC loyalists claim it's a political hit job, a global smear campaign designed to weaken South Africa's sovereignty and economic leverage. Protests have already broken out in parts of Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal, with both supporters and detractors clashing in heated street demonstrations. Legal experts say Ramaphosa could be forced to appear before an international tribunal, depending on the findings of upcoming investigations. Others argue this is just diplomatic posturing, but the evidence seems to suggest otherwise. He's also facing the very real possibility of losing ANC leadership backing if the party decides he's become a liability. Cabinet insiders report panic meetings happening behind closed doors, and discussions of a potential interim leader stepping in if things escalate further. Could this lead to a snap election? A resignation? Or even the unthinkable, Ramaphosa standing trial before an international court? This is no longer just about politics. This is about justice, truth, and whether power will finally be held accountable, no matter how high up the ladder it goes. As the dust settles and global eyes remain locked on South Africa, one thing is certain: the walls are closing in on President Cyril Ramaphosa. Will he survive this storm, or is this the moment history will remember as his dramatic fall?